Janani?
Sir, yes, sir. 9 o'clock civic.
Yeah. We can wait another 2 or 3 minutes. If some more people come, that will be better because it's an interesting topic.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I think Janani, we can start now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good evening to one and all. Today's topic is the wound dressing, which is the most integral part of any surgeon, whether it is a general surgeon, gynecologist, or whichever the specialty of a surgeon. It is the most important thing. Most of you think that it is very easier topic to understand, but the most controversial topic is the wound dressing. What is the type of dressing we need to choose is the most hot and debatable topic right now. Uh, Janani will go through the different types of the wound dressing and advantages and disadvantages of the wound dressing. I personally feel the audience, if they have any doubt, let them be open because there is a lot of controversies which will happen in the present day wound dressing because lot of there are around 3,000 different types of wound dressings are available right now. But we will try to analyze which has got advantages and the disadvantages, and we try to see whether probably Janani has not done the actual evidence, but ultimately the type of the dressing we will be discussing as the presentation goes on. Uh, Janani, you can start, Janani.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, good evening, everyone. Today, I'm going to present a subject seminar on
Janani,
wound dressing. Yes, sir.
hello.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Are you able to listen? Hello,
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Abdul.
Sir, Janani is audible. Hello.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Am I audible?
You are
Yes,
audible.
you are audible, Janani.
Sir, Pawan, sir, can you hear me, sir? Hello, sir. Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Reconnecting.
We lost you, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, Janani. Yeah.
Is
You
my
are
screen
audible.
visible, sir?
Yeah. It is visible, you can start on.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Jenny.
thank you, sir. So, good evening, everyone. My presentation is on wound dressing. So, wound is a physical or thermal damage. It can cause defects or interruptions in epidermis of skin or mucous membrane. Wounds can be chronic or acute. Healing of acute wounds is shorter than chronic wounds because acute wound healing is normal, orderly, and timely throughout, unlike chronic wounds. So the factors involved in healing process depends on size of the wound, depth and degree of injury. So these are the various phases in wound healing: inflammatory, proliferative, and maturation and remodeling. Inflammatory phase lasts for 2 to 5 days post injury. Proliferative phase for 5 days to 3 weeks, and the maturations then take care of the wound. In inflammatory phase, the bleeding first stops and platelets start to clot the wound, and finally it ends by formation of scab. And there will also be inflammatory changes. And in proliferative phase, the granulation tissues will be formed and contraction of the wound will be there and epithelialization of wound will happen. And in maturation phase, the scar tissue finally forms and it is only 80% as strong as the original tissue. The maturation and remodeling phase lasts for up to 2 years. So these are the various inflammatory like neutrophils, macrophages, and fibroblasts that are predominant at various days post-wounding. So coming to the dressing, the variety of cutaneous surgical procedures require dressing materials and techniques to address the specific needs of the injury. In addition, the care of surgical incision sites also includes care of poorly healing and chronic wounds. So, the use of fabrics as linen on wounds continued for at least 4,000 years until the cotton gauze was introduced in 1871. So, the use of linen strips and plaster to dress the wounds was started in 1615 BC. It states that closing wounds would heal more quickly than open wounds. So linen strips were sometimes coated with grease or oil in those days to create semi-occlusive or adherent dressing, but it also helps in preventing the adherence of wound to the dressing, adherence of the dressing to the wound. So the moist chamber effect was introduced in 1948. And few found that semi-occlusive dressings will be more effective. The function of wound dressing includes, it provides the optimum environment for rapid healing by protecting the wound from further trauma, bacterial invasion, or exposure to caustic substances. And the dressing should be ideal to able to confine to the wound shape, and it should absorb the wound fluid. It should provide sufficient pressure for hemostasis and prevent leakage from bandage. And it should also support the wound and surrounding tissues. It should eliminate pain, promote re-epithelialization during the reparative phase. And it is easy to apply and remove with minimal injury to the wound. So the ideal wound dressing should carry the following features, like ability to maintain moisture balance. It should promote oxygen exchange. It should isolate proteases. These proteases are the bacterial degradation product, like bacteria degrading the protein from the muscles or from the wound surface, creating proteases. It should isolate the proteases, and our dressing should isolate proteases so that the wound will heal faster. And it should also stimulate growth factors, prevent infection, facilitate autolytic debridement, and promotes production of granulation tissue and reepithelium. So classification of wound dressing depends on their function in the wound. Example, debridement, antibacterial activity, occlusive effect, absorbent effect, and adherence effect. Type of material used to produce dressing, like various types, which I'm going to discuss later, and the physical form of dressing. The thing which we are going to apply in our dressing, like ointment, film, foam, or gel materials. That is a concept of traditional dry dressing earlier, like the use of gauze pieces, sterile absorbent cotton and bandage. So it will mold into the depression of the deeper wounds, fills the dead space and provide absorption. It was more economical, offer physical protection and prevent infection. The disadvantages being re-injury during separation from the wound. It was a layered dressing. Sir?
Janani, there is a
Yes, sir.
question from Hari. Can the type of dressing influence wound healing phases?
So can the type of dressing?
Influence wound healing phases.
Yes, sir. Type of dressing, according to the type which we use, like some dressings will promote absorption of the exudates from the wound, so it will promote the wound healing, sir. And some will slowly absorb the fluid from the fluid substances from the wound, and it will the slow absorption may cause maceration, and it will delay the wound healing process. So definitely, the type of dressing will influence the wound healing, sir.
Yeah, Hari,
Yes, sir.
is there anything you want to tell?
No, sir. The influences just wanted to know, that's all. Because the types of dressing, not only the healing depends on, not only because of the how the wound heals, it depends on the dressing also, is what I wanted to ask. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Actually, if you have seen the chart which Janani has showed the different phases of wound healing, there you can see the moist environment. The moist environment has to be, that's why the type of the dressing will be dependent on the type of the wound, whether it is an exudative wound or whether it is a dry wound, whether it is an infective wound. All these things matters before you choose for any type of the dressing, which will
Okay.
indirectly help you whether it will promote the wound healing. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then you can.
Yes, sir. So in layered dressing, three parts. One is the contact layer. Second one will be the absorbent layer and outer layer. So the contact layer should be non-adherent and fluid permeable. The absorbent layer should contain cotton pad or gauze for retaining the exudate and help to mold the shape of wound. And the outer layer for retention of the underlying layers. These are the three traditional layered dressing layers. So in modern occlusive dressing, the extra thing which was added was the dressing material should be conducive to dissolute, absorb necrotic tissue and fibrin. It should autolyze and cause autolytic debridement, maintain relatively constant local temperature and humidity of the wound, and it should be biocompatible, degradable, and moisture retainable. The advantages being it relieves pain because it is going to retain the moisture, so it will relieve pain. It will prevent the wound from drying, and it improves hypoxic or anaerobic environment, because hypoxic and anaerobic environment can make the wound infected and the healing process can be delayed. So the clinical application, overall application of both modern and traditional dressings include diabetic foot ulcers, pressure ulcers, burns and scald, venous leg ulcers, radiation dermatitis, split thickness skin grafting. So about different types of dressings. So any questions so far? Or can I go ahead, sir? So far, any doubts? Anyone can question. Can I continue, sir?
Yeah. Janani, I just wanted to ask,
Yes,
rather
sir.
than going directly to the modern dressing, what are the traditional dressings which you know?
So that's what the layer dressing with the outer layer and the middle cotton layer and outer sticky layer, inner the layer that is adherent to this wound, and the middle cotton absorbent layer, sir. This is the more traditional dressing which was used.
Okay. Okay, you can continue.
Yes, sir. So hydrogels, this is a three-dimensional structure composed of hydrophilic substances. It is insoluble in water. It absorbs 10% to 1,000-fold their equivalent weight. So it absorbs the exudative fluids from the wound. Cleansing of necrotic tissues is the additional advantage with this. Indications include pressure ulcers, surgical wounds, burns, and radiation dermatitis. That is, wounds with mild to moderate exudates, we can apply hydrogels. The advantages are it donates fluid to the necrotic tissue. So soothing, cushioning, and cooling effect is provided. So there will be reduced post-operative pain if we apply in surgical wounds. It is available in sheet forms, powdered or pre-mixed gel forms. While we change the dressing, there is low risk of trauma to the wound. So it is also helpful for pruritus because of its soothing, cushioning, and cooling effect. The disadvantages being no spontaneous sucking ability is there. So absorption is slow. It requires secondary dressing because frequent soakage of dressing will be there. And caution in infected wounds as it allows bacterial growth. Hydrocolloids. This is also a slow absorption dressing. The colloid is a Greek term used for two-phase system. So comprising uniform dispersion of one phase of matter, that is unfilterable small particles, into another phase of matter or matrix. Hydrocolloid and hydrofiber composed of same material. It can absorb more than 25-fold of its own weight. It is also available as sheets with an inner adhesive layer consisting of hydrophilic colloid base and an adhesive. The outer layer is composed of thin semi-permeable material such as polyurethane. Polyurethane is the transparent material. So this is the transparent material which is applied over the wound. It is indicated in chronic ulcers, burns, trauma wounds, and bullous disorders, and also in certain skin conditions like inflammatory disorders, that is like in simplex and chronicus. The advantages being it facilitates debris removal confined to the wound shape. It directly adheres to wound site and is easy to use. It increases patient comfort, and the thermal insulation is also the added advantage here. The disadvantages include the risk of maceration of surrounding tissue. Here, why the risk of maceration is there is because there will be slow absorption of the fluid from the wound. The retained fluid will cause maceration of the surrounding tissues around the wound. And possible wound trauma with dressing change, and the gel has unpleasant appearance and odor. It is usually opaque. Caution in infected wounds is required in this dressing. This is the sodium alginate that is derived from the seaweed. It is in the form of gel after binding to the wound exudate. It is available as sheets. It is used in infected and non-infected wounds with large amount of exudates. So this absorbs the exudates very nicely when compared to hydrocolloids. It is indicated in chronically highly exudative wounds, full thickness burns, and surgical wounds, and also graft donor sites. Advantages include it is highly absorbent with spontaneous sucking ability. Hemostatic properties there. It is non-adherent, confines to wound shape, soluble for low trauma dressing changes with normal saline. So no reports of toxicity. It is useful in infected wounds also. So the disadvantages include requires secondary dressing to prevent desiccation. Gel has unpleasant appearance and odor. Mild burning is sometimes reported. About foam dressing, it is the same. Yes, sir.
Sir, can I ask you, sir? So far the hydrogel and hydrocolloid and sodium alginate, no? So it's all like appearance wise, it's like a sheet or a gel like that. But main function is it from the difference of the function, like absorbing or rehydrating the wound. Or else what is the difference between the three mainly? I mean, to precisely say.
So can I tell, sir? In case,
Janani.
in case of sodium alginate, this is see this the appearance is it will appear as sheet, but it will absorb more because of the form. Like when we compare these two, this is a thin transparent material, so the absorption is very slow here. But it looks little bit thicker, and also the material will it is more like gauze piece, and it will absorb more exudates than hydrocolloids. So that is the major difference.
Okay.
These both hydrocolloids and this thing hydrogels, these both will appear like this, and like this transparent thin material. The inner layer is made up of polyurethane. That is a simple layer that will prevent the wound from exposure to outer environment. And the absorption is very little here. But here the
Hari.
absorption is greater.
Yes, sir.
Hari,
Yes, sir.
the basic principle of any wound healing
Yes,
is
sir.
mainly due to the maintenance of the moist environment. That's why I told whenever there is a exudative wound,
Yes,
the
sir.
type of the dressing it mainly matters, because the more the absorbent dressing, the higher the healing rate.
Okay,
If
sir.
it is a frank exudative wound, how much ever you put a hydrocolloid or sodium alginate, whatever is there, each dressing material has an absorptive capacity of 30 to 50 ml max.
Okay, sir.
It can't absorb more than that. For that time, you need to change the dressing frequently.
Okay.
Exudative wound requires a change of dressing frequently. So all these dressings, whatever is there, they have a limited capacity of absorption.
Okay, sir.
More exudate, these dressings, whatever is there, they are not so helpful. The slides whichever Janani has showed, they show advantages, disadvantages. Yes, it looks very fascinating when we see the slide, but when it comes to the cost effectiveness and the actual improvement of the wound, I still doubt whether these advanced modern dressings have an effective role over
Fine, sir.
the normal traditional.
Traditional dressing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anani,
Yes, sir.
Dayanand sir has asked, what is the meaning of desiccation?
Sir, the fluid loss, sir. The fluid loss is minimized in this thing, so the moist environment is maintained for the wound healing to be faster.
Dayanand sir, you want to ask anything, sir?
No, what exactly mean by desiccation? Desiccation of tissues or wound? What exactly we mean to say the word meaning of desiccation?
The desiccation of the fluid, sir. Fluid, exudative fluid from the wound.
You mean absorption?
So loss, because the removal of moisture, sir, the removal of moisture and proper balance of moisture is required in the non-healing wound, because the moisture balance has to be maintained for the faster healing of the wound. So the dressing which I have shown here, sodium alginate, it will maintain the desiccation. It will absorb the excess moist and it will maintain the proper moisture. It will give the proper moisture balance to the wound, so that the wound will heal faster. That is what I understood, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can I answer that, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Actually, the meaning of desiccation is making the tissue dry. Whenever the tissue is exposed to the environment, means if you see in case of a burns, whenever the wound is exposed, there is a chance of desiccation. The tissues will become dry. The water content of the tissue will be expelled out because of evaporation. The tissue will become desiccated, sir. That's what I understood the meaning of desiccation.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then you can.
Yes, sir. So regarding foam dressing, it is semi-permeable bilaminate and either that is either a hydrophilic or hydrophobic with bacterial barrier, and composed of polyurethane or silicone based material. It provides thermal insulation, maintains moisture to the wound, prevent damage to the wound at the time of removal. The inner layer is composed of absorbent, gas-permeable polyurethane foam mesh, which lies adjacent to the wound, and the outer layer is semi-permeable polyurethane, polyester, or silicone material surrounded by polyoxyethylene glycol foam. This layer protects against outside bacterial contamination to some extent, and also against the drying out of underlying layers. The foam dressings are typically non-adherent, thereby requiring secondary dressing layers to ensure secure placement with a good seal. And film dressings, it is adhesive, porous, and thin transparent polyurethane material. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor from wound passes through the dressing. It also possesses autolytic debridement properties, suitable for epithelialization of wound and superficial wounds with exudate with some amount of exudates, that is minimal amount of exudates. It indicated in intravenous sites, skin tear sites, split skin grafting sites, and laser resurfacing. Advantages being it is translucent, permeable to water vapor, tend to reduce postoperative pain. It creates bacterial barrier. Disadvantages: difficult to position. It may adhere to wound as it dries. So while removing, it may cause injury to the wound. Possible exudate accumulation is there because it is a thin material that is not going to absorb any exudates. And wound fluid can accumulate under the dressing layer, especially with highly exudative wounds. So prevention measures. The diabetic prevention measures with regards to wound healing. In diabetic foot ulceration, the infection has to be prevented. In pressure sore, shearing force and pressure in hazardous area has to be avoided. And in lower extremity chronic ulcer, the accumulation of exudates has to be prevented. In acute wounds like burn, exudate and infection has to be prevented. The application of different dressings to different pathological types should be appropriate. Sir, so far any doubts, sir?
Generally,
Yes, sir.
Naz madam has asked, what are the natural materials used for dressing, used as a dressing, especially in the burns?
Sir, honey is being tried. And as I mentioned in the history,
Hello?
Priestley, sir? Sir, am I audible, sir? Sir? Hari, am I audible?
Yes, Janani, go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, honey, oil, grease, everything has been used, ma'am. For burns, especially honey is used, ma'am.
Yeah, amnion bank, you've heard about amnion bank? Amniotic membrane, yeah. And
Yes,
then,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
then we use this potato peel dressing, fish
Yes,
skin. Yeah, these are all being used as the natural materials for skin burns.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Some internet connection has gone wrong with me. Okay, then you can
Yes, sir.
continue.
Okay, sir. So these are the various types of dressings that are in practice nowadays, like silver ion foam dressing and alginate dressing, polyurethane, alevin, and Meflix dressing. We use this in various day-to-day practice. So anything you need to explain regarding this, sir?
Oh, actually, can I ask one?
Yes, sir.
How many? What is there any difference between dressing and a skin substitute?
Skin substitute and dressing, sir.
Yeah.
Um,
See, I will answer that.
Yes, sir.
The dressing and the skin substitutes are almost the same thing. The
Okay.
dressings are used for the wound, which has a raw wound which has to be healed. The skin substitutes are the things which are used to increase and enhance the wound healing. Okay. The skin substitutes are mainly the two types. Whatever you have told, no, all these things
Yes, sir.
comes under wound dressing.
Okay,
In
sir.
the other name as a skin substitute. It can be either a temporary skin substitute or it may be a permanent skin substitute.
Okay, sir.
In temporary skin substitute, there are many types of the temporary things, that is like a human allograft, human amnion, BioBran, Oasis. I thought you will speak about them, because
Okay, sir.
those are the actual modern skin substitutes or the modern type of dressings which are
Yes,
used
sir.
right now.
Okay, sir. Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
BioBan, Sansite, Duderm, Offsite,
Okay, sir.
Tegaderm. These are all the things which are the new terminology and the new type of
Skin
dressings which
substitutes
are
used.
which are available in the market. And the other
Yes, sir.
permanent skin substitutes like the Apligraft, Epicel, Orcel, Alloderm, Integraderm, many things. If you name them, there is no end for them. But you need to know, at least for a postgraduate, you need to know what are the different types of dressing, skin substitute or a type of the dressings which are available right now, which are a little bit having a higher advantage. What are the things I have told? No, these have got little bit higher advantage which are in practice actually.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You can.
Yes, sir. So the poor wound healing results in pain and heavy medical burden. And about the negative pressure wound therapy, it refers to any device that highly seals the wound, creating near airtight environment. Vacuum can be applied, resulting in series of biological reactions that enhance wound healing. It facilitates wound healing via drawing the skin edges closer together, reduce the volume of tissue and skin needed to heal the wound, strain or tension across the wound. So the strain or tension across the wound is relieved here. I'll be showing it in the picture. So there are 4 major components here. Filler material, that is sponge, is placed into the wound, and semi-permeable dressing to isolate the wound. It allows the vacuum system to transmit pressure to the wound surface, and the connecting tube and the vacuum system. Here, so the this dressing is connected to the vacuum system. There are 3 types of foam available: black polyurethane ether and black polyurethane ester and white polyvinyl alcohol. So the wound will be first filled with the porous substance, that is foam or gauze piece, facilitate pressure transmission within the wound. The drainage port is attached above the porous material and the wound is sealed with adhesive film dressing. The drainage port is connected to the controlled vacuum pump, which maintains the negative pressure of 50 to 150 mmHg. So the mechanism of action includes macro deformation, micro deformation, fluid removal, and alteration of wound environment. In macro deformation, simply wound will shrink when suction is applied. And in micro deformation, it stimulates sprouting towards the wound. Localized hypoxia can cause increase in local vascularity by increasing the vascularity related growth factors. And fluid removal, by removing the fluid, perfusion of tissue is increased. And alteration of wound environment, when the fluid is evacuated, electrolyte and protein materials are removed, which stabilizes the osmotic gradient, which will favor the wound healing. And the secondary effects includes neurogenesis, hemostasis, angiogenesis and blood flow, modulation of inflammation, cellular responses, and granulation tissue formation. In neurogenesis, it enhances the neural growth. The negative pressure will enhance the neural growth and neuropeptide expression. And it will also, the negative pressure will constrict and occlude the small blood vessels. And the angiogenesis and blood flow will be increased to the wound site. It promotes active wound healing. And cellular responses like proliferation, differentiation, and migration of inflammatory cells can happen. And granulation tissue formation, like it affects the proliferation stage of the repair by forming the tissue granulation, cell proliferation, and augmenting the blood vessels sprouting there. So this is shown in the figure here. the different phases of hemostasis, inflammation, proliferation, and the remodeling phases. The clinical application of back dressing includes in open wounds, poorly healing ulcers like diabetes, venous and arterial pressure necrosis, skin graft preparation site, combination therapy with silver platelet-rich plasma, installation with normal saline, and in cases of burns wound, pressure perfusion is useful in acute partial thickness hand burns especially, and deep infected wound or deep sternal wounds, we can apply back pressure dressing, and open fractures, augmented skin drain in deep cavities, and in cases of hidradenitis suppurativa, and intra-abdominal wound infections and necrotizing pancreatitis, in congenital deformities like giant omphalocele or complex gastroschisis. So these are the various sites where we can apply pressure, this pressure dressing, back dressing. It's especially useful in second-degree burns and diabetic foot infections, and also in sternal wounds. And nowadays we use it in open abdomen, that is the prolonged non-healing surgical site infection and open abdomen. For pressure sores also it is giving promising results. Contraindications of back dressing includes untreated fistulas, untreated osteomyelitis, wound with malignant tumor. The cautions when we use back dressing includes when using porous foam in contact with visceral organs, erosions can cause fistulas. When used around the vascular structures, massive bleeding might happen due to erosion into the large blood vessels. Currently, negative pressure vacuum therapy have been used to treat closed incisional wounds. It decreases edema and facilitate healing in such cases. So this is the additional added advantage according to various literatures. Thank you, sir. So this ends my session.
Hello.
Sir, yes, sir.
In one of the slides, you showed sprouting towards wound healing. What do you mean by that? Sprouting towards
The blood vessel.
wound
Yes, sir.
healing.
So the negative pressure will augment the new blood vessel formation towards the non-healed wound, sir. So the oxygen supply and the blood supply to the wound area is augmented by this negative pressure, because it is drawing the wound edges together, and the blood vessel formation is also towards the wound. So the wound will heal faster and close faster, sir.
You personally, have you monitored or used this equipment?
Yes,
in
sir.
your setup?
Yes, sir.
Anywhere?
In our hospital, we use it regularly for diabetic wound and for diabetic foot ulcers, and also for pressure sores. Also, we are using it, sir.
Okay. Now let me ask. Now today you applied. When do you change it?
Sir, weekly once we'll ask the patient to come, sir, come for the change. Usually 7 days to 10 days. We ask them to change it.
Janani, pardon, sir. I just wanted to correct her, sir. It is not the days which is most important. It is the amount of fluid exudation.
Yes,
rather than you telling us 7 to 10 days. That is not a right way to tell. You need to tell the amount of exudate. If it is a more exudative wound, you will try to change as early as possible, from 3 to 5 days.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Yes,
If the less exudative wound, you can keep up to 10 days. There is nothing harm.
10 days. Okay, sir.
It depends upon the type of exudation, the amount of exudation, which will decide when you want to change the dressing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes,
sir.
Yes.
Any role for that in bed sore, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Bed sore also it is showing good results, sir. We have used it for many of our patients. If the bed sore is very deep and if it is very large and it is not healing with all our dressings, like prolonged non-healing, we can use it, sir.
Because the exudate coming out of bed sore is quite less.
Yes, sir, quite less, but in few cases, in 1 or 2 cases, we have used it, and it's showing good results, sir.
Sir, can I answer that, sir?
Yeah, sir, please.
Yes, sir. Yes. Actually, the bed sore, we think that it is not so much of exudative. Yes, definitely, but still there is some amount of exudation, which is the one which hinders the wound healing, sir. And the VAC is not only the meant to evacuate the exudation. It is main important function of the VAC is to promote the granulation tissue.
Correct,
And
sir.
and to a certain extent, it will maintain the sterile environment, which will prevent the infection.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
and the most important thing which Janani has not told, the contraindication of the VAC. The contraindication of the VAC, when there is a slough or any dead tissue, there is no role for any VAC. It has to
Correct.
be divided. It has to be divided, and the VAC has to be applied so that the wound gets filled up with the granulation tissue from the bottom rather than just moving from above. That is the
Correct,
main principle of the
Sir,
VAC. Yes, sir.
for
Yes, sir.
tropical ulcer, is it have any role, sir?
Yes, sir. Definitely for any non-healing wounds or any long-term wounds, the VAC has definitely has a role. And the today's present topic, I just wanted to tell only the VAC. All other dressings have the literature is completely nil. The advanced dressings, all our things are not so proven one. The VAC is the only one thing which is proven and which has been helpful. And it will not heal. The majority of the people will think that once you apply the VAC, the wound will get healed. No, it will never heal. It will maintain, it will improve the wound so that the other type of either a flap or a skin graft which we can apply or we can close later, like a abdominal wound. It is not the only the answer for that, but it will improve the wound healing capacity. Janani,
Yes, sir.
there is a caution from Tanvir, how to dress bed sores which exudates large amount of serous fluids. Patient also had a hypoalbuminemia causing more increased exudation.
So I couldn't get. So what's how to?
How to
dress
bed sore which exudes large amount of serous fluid, and
Yes,
the patient invariably has an hypoalbuminemia.
So we should first correct the hypoalbuminemia, sir. And we should apply the regular dressings like the hydrocolloid or sodium alginate dressing can be applied, or normal traditional dressing can also be used if they are not available. And we should, if we correct hypoalbuminemia, the amount of serous fluid, the exudates will come down.
Okay.
Excuse me, this is Dr. Tanvi speaking. I actually
Yes,
had a patient and I needed to just discuss the case if it's okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The case was basically a 70-year-old male. He had history of a neck of femur fracture, following which 3 months he was not operated. He had developed bed sores on his bilateral buttocks and on his sacrum. It was grade 4 bed sores, 15 cross 10 centimeter long, and it exudated a lot of serous fluid per day, at least 500 ml. That's basically three full pads were soaked out every day. 3 times a day we were changing the dressing. Albumin level was 1.3. His hemoglobin was 4, dropping every day by 1 gram, even after blood transfusions. And his hematocrit also was very low. He was going into AKI, so obviously he was going into multi-organ failure. But this thing, because the wound also was continuously exudating, we were not able to control the hemodynamics of the patient. So I just wanted to know how best we could have actually worked up the case.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to ask whether the wound was, it is just a exudative wound, or is there any slough or anything, necrotic tissue was there?
Sir, patient actually had necrotic tissue, sir, and we only attempted only chemical debridement because the patient couldn't withstand anesthesia.
Okay. I personally believe that when there is a slough or a necrotic tissue, VAC will not be helpful, first thing. if you want to improve the patient, whatever is there, you need to correct the nutritional status first thing, and you need to debride the necrotic tissue. Until you don't debride that necrotic tissue, the sepsis part will continue like that only. It is a vicious cycle. You can't save that patient until you remove that necrotic tissue. Once you remove that necrotic tissue, if you apply, if you are telling per day for 500 ml of exudation, that exudate will come whenever there is a necrotic tissue. Once you try to remove that necrotic tissue, the exudative will decrease automatically, not completely, but at least to a certain extent. Then you could have applied the VAC, and you could have corrected the nutritional status. The age is the one factor which is against us. It is very difficult. It is easier to tell we could have done like this, we could have done like that, but it is not a straightforward case. But for me, you should have removed the necrotic tissue under local only, or whatever the possible way daily. I personally don't believe in chemical this thing. Debridement. I always believe in a surgical debridement, which is the more I personally feel it is more helpful to the patient rather than the chemical debridement.
Thank you, sir.
Janani,
Yes, sir.
I have one basic question. Can I ask?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Large,
You can ask.
we come across large abscess, say breast abscess, or sometime post-injection abscess. So we drain the pus,
Yes, sir.
and usually we pack the wound. Okay, you want to pack
Yes,
the
sir.
wound, or you want to keep a suction drain, or what do you think of after this presentation?
Sir, if we can, in cases of large abscess, we should drain the abscess adequately, and we can pack the wound, and we should do regular dressing, sir. Because we should not leave it without packing, because we want the healing to happen from within. So we should daily do the dressing properly and pack the wound, sir.
There were some literature papers also that after the drainage and thorough washing, primary suturing and something like that. Pawan sir, what do you feel about those things, sir?
Sir, I personally feel if it is an abscess, if it is a serum or some other thing, that I can do that. But when there is an abscess, definitely there is no role for suturing. If at all, if you want to put a suture, debride adequately, put a drain, and you can suture. But you need to explain to the patient that there is a high possibility that the sutures can be opened and the wound will be open within few days.
Yes.
If it heals. Otherwise, the wound has to open again. It has to heal by secondary intention.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Janani,
Yes, sir.
Vishwajit has asked how the moist wound heals faster than the dry wound.
Sir, first of all, moist environment, the over moist environment is not required, is unfavorable towards the wound healing process, sir. So all our dressings, that is, it will be either slow absorptive material, or it is.
No. What he wanted to ask is why the moist environment is better for wound healing compared to the dry environment. If you go to your second to third slide, you will
Yes,
get
sir.
the answer. You can
Sir,
go to,
yes, sir. Sir, you want me to change my slide, sir?
yeah. You go to
One, sir.
Abscess wound healing part.
Yes, sir.
Somewhere.
So it helps in epithelialization of epithelialization of the wound. So yes, sir.
Yeah, Vishwajit. Vishwajit.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah. You need to understand the part of the wound healing, the different
Yes,
phases of the wound healing, for you to understand what exactly happens whenever there is a moist environment. It is
Okay, sir.
basically at the level of cellular level rather than at a gross level. The moist environment has a definitive role for the formation of the different products, cell products which are essential for the wound healing.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. One more point I wanted to add, sir. Can
yeah,
I?
yeah, you can. Yeah, yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
actually, if it is a dry wound, there is a more chance of formation of crusts over the wound, and moist environment will prevent it. One more thing I wanted, I knew was there will be trapping of enzymes, autolytic enzymes in moist environment. So it prevents autolytic or slough autolysis actually. So I thought only those 2 points I knew, sir. Any other points they wanted to add? That's why I asked.
No. They if you see the actual wound healing different phases, they will
Yes.
understand moist environment is essential for the different cell migration, and
Yes, sir.
also it is
Keratinocytes.
essential
Yes, sir.
for
Sure, sir. Yes.
yeah. If you go in depth about the cellular this thing, I told Janani not to include all those things because it is not a topic of discussion for today, so she has not included. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Janani, the last question: what is the amount
Thank
of
you, sir.
negative pressure in wound in wax?
So 50 to 150 millimeters of mercury, sir.
It is a range, Janani. What Naz madam is asking, what is the routine pressure? How do you decide the amount of pressure you want to put?
So based on the site where we are going to apply. So in cases of diabetic foot, we can apply the pressure of 70 to 100, sir, if I'm not wrong. And in case of sacral, like bed sores or something, sacral region, we can reduce the pressure to 50 to 70. So I'm not very sure,
What
sir.
is no. What is the purpose of reducing or increasing the pressure in wax?
So because in negative pressure wound therapy, there are chances of eroding the blood vessels. So so we should be careful in certain areas. So it is safe to apply higher pressure in diabetic foot ulcers. And if I'm not wrong, and if in sacral region, little bit.
I will just clarify
Yes, sir.
regarding that.
Yes, sir.
Whenever there is a important major structure surrounding that, preferable to put at a low pressure. Whenever there is a non-important structure, like as you told, diabetic foot, the ideal pressure is between 75 to 125 mm of mercury. More than 125 mm of mercury is ideally not advisable, and it depends upon the patient. If the patient is feeling pain or some kind of constriction,
Discomfort.
uneasiness, discomfort, you are supposed to reduce the pressure to whatever because each patient is different.
Yes.
The ideal is between 75 to 125 mm of mercury. More than 125 of mercury is not advisable. Though in the literature they tell up to 150, but it is not an advisable thing. Up to 125 max, we usually apply. 75 for the lower, means where there is some amount of important structures are there, like abdomen and all those things. You can't apply 120 or 125 like that in abdomen, because the chance of vascular compromise are more.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
Ma'am,
Pawan,
yes sir, yes sir.
I just want to ask one more basic question. Now, this after the surgery is over, we put the dressings and the plaster. Some people put completely the seal off with the plaster. Okay.
Yes,
Some people put strips of plaster just to hold the
sir.
dressing.
Yes,
Which you will prefer? Because the earlier saying was wound should always breathe. That was the teaching. So completely we should seal off or just put some strips.
Sir, each one has their advantages and disadvantages, sir. It entirely depends upon the discretion of the surgeon. I'm very frank and open, because if you seal off completely, the chance of infections are less, because there is no aeration, there is no the air cannot go inside like that. Some people advocate, some people will tell tegaderm is ideal, so that the chance of infections are very less. Offsite tegaderm, these are the non-permeable things. But still, what I personally feel, what I am practicing is simple dressing, simple paper plaster dressing, what I routinely use. I have not got any problem. Most of them infection means, and there are some literature, sir, which tells that you can leave open after 24 hours. You can leave
Okay,
the entire wound open if it is not a, if it is a clean wound. If it is a clean surgery, you can leave open the wound after 24 to 48 hours. That is the, that's why I told, sir, it is entirely depends upon the discretion of the surgeon what he practices, because even the nice guidelines, even the sign guidelines has not told any dressing is superior to one another. All
okay, sir.
those two guidelines have told only one thing: these are the advantages, these are the disadvantages. There is no proper randomized control study with a higher number of patients, so that we can conclude which is the best.
Okay, sir.
So it is still a open debate, sir. Some people will tell hydrocolloid. I routinely use hydrocolloid. Some people tell I routinely use this ointment. I have got the result. If you ask me, sir, what you do routinely, I will just tell that I will be just applying the Neosporin ointment and one gauze piece and one paper plaster.
Correct, sir. Correct.
That is the simplest way till now I am using. But there are some people will tell that why Neosporin only. I just want to give a clarification regarding that, because most of the plastic surgeon prefers to use a Neosporin ointment when compared to other ointments. The only reason being that is Neosporin is the only oil-based ointment. The rest of the ointments, whatever available, are the water-based ointments, which will be absorbed. Oil-based ointment have some amount of moistness for a longer time when compared to a water-based ointment. That is the only reason.
Okay,
And
sir. And
yeah, yes, sir.
and
Yes,
this hydrogel or something they have come. What is your opinion on that, sir?
sir, I am using that. I'm using that on selected patients, especially the diabetic foods. The patients wants a routine long-term dressing. Daily, you need to change the dressing. The patients are not able to come to me proper. I will just add up the Hydroheal ointment. There are different brand names: Hydroheal, Mega Heal. There are different brand names. Yeah, that I will apply for faster granulation tissue. I don't know how fast, whether it is 1 day earlier, 2 day earlier. I don't know, sir. Literally, I just use on a discretion. Sometime if I feel that I want to use, I will use. If the patients want, because repeatedly patients will be asking, sir, ointment ಬೇಕು sir, ointment ಬೇಕು sir, ಹೊಸ ointment ಯಾವ್ದಾರು ಇದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ sir. That kind of word will prompt us to abuse certain things, which are ideally, if you ask me, it does not much useful. But the patient himself will be asking, sir, ಹೊಸ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಬಂದವಂತಲ್ಲ sir, ಅವನ್ನ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು sir. At that time, we are forced to use.
And on clean sutured wound, there some sprays have come like filmy coating. They do that. Do you believe in that?
No, sir. I mean, yes, sir. Helix spray. That's what I'm telling you, sir. That can be used, sir. But after my surgery, I used for 3 to 4 years. But after completing my plastic surgery, I'm not using that anymore, sir. I don't have. I will just believe 3 to 4 days simple Neosporin ointment and gauze, and after 3 to 4 days, I will leave it open.
Good, good. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Nice information.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Pawan, I have a
yes, sir.
question. Yeah.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Patients generally tell us that there should be no water falling on the wound.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you have to say about it?
Ma'am, ideally, water falling on the wound first 2 to 3 days, yes, better not to, because some amount of if the wound approximation, if it is not watertight, the water might go inside, whether it is a contaminated water or what, we don't know. I always tell them first 3 to 4 days, try to avoid water on that. And after 4 days, if the wound is healthy, my simple advice to them is apply a Neosporin ointment or apply oil, coconut oil, and you can have bath.
Yeah.
Even waterfalls also, it will slide down. It will not go inside. That's what I suggest. It is not an evidence based, but for my satisfaction.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Uh, Janani
Yes, sir.
presented very well. This is a hot topic, mainly, especially the VAT is the most important topic which we need to think about. And I think in exams that is a major question for you people, which will be helpful for you to write for 10 marks. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Anything else, sir? Dayanand, sir?
No, sir. Thank you. Nice presentation, Janani. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And madam, anything else, ma'am? Okay. We will close the session, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.